keep it locked. This is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stopping. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. The Nate and Garrett Show.
And now, welcome to the Nate and Garrett Show. Prepare yourself to be transported to the furthest reaches of reality. As the hosts unravel the mysteries of the universe, the depths of the deep state, the truth hidden in plain sight, all while bringing you the news from this week. Please welcome your hosts, Nate and Garrett.
Garrett,
hey,
what's up,
hey,
dude?
Everybody. Well, everybody, happy Liberation Day Eve, I guess you'd say.
What is Liberation Day, Garrett? What's that?
Liberation Day is supposedly when Trump's tariffs go into effect.
Dude.
The retaliatory tariffs on the rest of the world, essentially.
Good. I look forward to seeing what the fallout is. Yeah,
me too. You know, it's just so fun. We found out that the USA doesn't really have allies. It has dependents, which is great. Let's find out who our real allies are. Because quite frankly, they're more leeches than allies anyway. We have the most powerful army in the history of humanity right now. We have the biggest economy in the history of humanity right now. Why are we letting everyone else mooch off of us?
No kidding.
I think we said this before. I think I speak for you too, but I'm a huge free trade guy. So much so, I don't think tariffs should exist anywhere across the globe.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
why are we letting these countries set up tariffs on the U.S. to protect their product, but we're not allowed to do the same? It's about time that we at least push back at that.
Yeah, well said. I think that's the big thing I like about the tariffs is that I think that the tariffs, the retaliatory tariffs Trump's introducing will result in getting rid of all tariffs. You know what I mean? That's why I support
the only
them.
way I'm for these, if that is the goal, or if the goal is to eliminate the IRS, like he says. If either of those happens, great.
And
if it's just to grow government, give government money, I am hugely against these. But the liberals are just so funny because they're such a broken record. They act like tariffs are so terrible for the American people, but somehow magically what's good for the goose isn't just good for the gander, because they're fine with other countries having tariffs on us, and those are good. And in fact, those retaliatory tariffs just shove it into Trump's face. You know what? You're being so bad by hurting your own people by having tariffs. We're going to put tariffs on you too, but ours magically aren't going to hurt our constituents. It's just going to hurt the U.S. somehow.
Yeah. Somehow their tariffs are great, super nice, fun things, but our tariffs are horrible.
Yeah, theirs are actually protecting and good for their economy, but somehow ours aren't.
Yeah, which one is it?
Explain that to me.
Yeah. And, you know, one more good thing about the tariffs, which we mentioned last time, is that, and I think it will have this effect of bringing jobs back to the United States. I think it'll be a lot of people will manufacture here because it will be cheaper compared to paying tariffs and stuff, you know.
Trump does make some good points about kind of just if there is ever a war, a big conflict. If we go to war with China, they're obviously not going to produce our aluminum and steel and everything. So we do need to bring that stuff back home.
Yeah. I want to be fully self-sufficient anyway. Yeah. Trade is great.
We can, yes.
But
yep.
Let's be able to make our own
It makes
stuff.
everybody richer, but if people are taking advantage of us constantly, let's not let them. How about
no kidding.
Not let them?
Yep.
We're probably the only country right now in the entire world that could basically shut off trade. And it's kind of funny, just in the global markets, usually it's a really bad sign if you see a country starting to fail. They always talk about like it starting a domino effect, and then the next country falls, and then the next country falls. This one might be kind of different because it's finally the Americans turning off that taxpayer faucet, and it is going to cause some dominoes to fall. But at the same time, I think it might prop us up more. So it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Just as like a scientific experiment, a economic experiment to see what happens when the U.S. starts funneling money to us rather than us funneling money into everybody else. I
think that we are going to stand a lot taller and stronger, and these other countries are going to, crumble.
About time that we look out for it. It really is putting the America First policy. Yes. Maybe for real, America First.
Yep, I love it. Obi Kenobi. Hey. He says, especially with the AI robots on the horizon, we won't need to worry about cheap labor. We will dominate with all our resources. So I didn't mean to cut you off. But that's a really good point because, especially at the border, they're acting like, oh, prices are going to go crazy. Well, we could have also the Tesla robot do it for a one-time fee of $30,000 and do work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with no issues. Yeah. And we're right around the corner. Elon did say that they're going to do 500 of them this year to the general public. And it's only going to go way, way up from there. Yeah, we're right on the precipice of like a world-changing thing with these robots. I think it's going to be so crazy. I think it's going to be great. And, and we said before, and I'll just make the point again, that like once the robots are doing all the farming and doing all the building and doing basically every job, then everything should become free. We should all become very wealthy. And I think that's what will happen eventually. Yep. Bye-bye overpriced union workers. Do you remember the port during Biden's years? Yeah. When the port was going to... That was interesting. Yeah, they were going to, the union there was going to strike. Yeah. One of the things they're striking about is that they don't want automation. I know. They're basically holding back the future. You see China where it's basically all automated. Yep. And we're paying people to go do this. I mean, I'm guessing backbreaking, not super fulfilling work just for the fact of paying these people to work. Adam and Stove. We should automate that. Yeah, Adam and Stove comes on here lying. I don't even believe you. And he says he's not going to have sex with this robot. Yeah, right. I don't even believe you. Good luck resisting. It's going to be the hottest robot you've ever seen, too. I'm serious. I'm not going to, he says. That's hilarious. But one more. I you probably don't have the clip, but we always have to cut the show short because we have too much segments. But there was one where a guy was in a relationship with an AI. And it was just so cringy. Those videos are so pathetic, where some guy thinks he's dating the AI or whatever. There was an AI that was, it was a web page, I hate to even say the dark ages of AI, because we're talking like 8-9 months ago, but there was an AI that was made, and it was just filled with a bunch of these neckbeard liberals, and they were all sexting this AI chat. And then one day, the developers decided, okay, we're getting a bad rap. This is getting bad. I remember this night. Shut it off. Yeah. And there was a giant pushback because anytime they would try to talk sexy to this and say, how about we change the subject? So even this AI. Yeah, what's your favorite hobby? Yeah. Even this AI is turning down these neckbeards. Yeah. So they're soulless from just getting shot down in the real world all the time. Just shot them down. Dude, that is funny. It actually reminds me of a few years ago. I've told this example before, but there was a manufacturer in China making sex dolls. And they were saying, there's too many men in China, not enough women, because they were killing the women, the one child policy. And so men were buying these sex dolls, and the manufacturer was making them. He said, lots of men will buy these sex dolls because if they don't, then they'll be alone for their whole life. And I was just thinking, they're still alone. They're not alone because they have an inanimate doll. You know what I mean? It's going to be so much that with an AI on top, where it's like, oh, I'm married to Sheila, the AI. It's so pathetic. There is something. So obviously, without getting too deep into the whole monogamous relationships with traditional roles, what is that going to do? Even just when the Tesla robot comes and takes a ton of jobs. Let's say we go
the route where it creates an abundance. We're in a post-scarcity world.
Okay. Yep.
Do you think we see less traditional two head of households, basically?
You know what? I actually think it should be the other way. We should see more.
Interesting.
You know, I kind of think that if no one has to work,
the stress is way down. You don't have that financial stress.
We got food in the fridge. You don't have to worry about rent. Everyone's doing fine. I think there will be a lot more marriage. Actually, I think I think it'll save the population crisis.
Man, that's a good point. Because I do think that a lot of marital stress probably is due to financial stress.
That's probably the biggest marital stress.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the major factors preventing marriages is, financial insecurity, which is higher than ever.
It does push off marriage date. Like the date of first marriages has just basically never been higher. Then it pushes off having kids.
Yes.
And then the older you are, the more fertility issues you have.
Right. And the more it's kind of like, do I really want to now?
Can I afford one?
Yeah.
Can I afford to have another kid in daycare where I'm paying $1,000 a month to have a stranger watch my kid for most of its life?
Yep. But if we're in a post-scarcity world and robots are doing everything, I think it should solve these issues. The financial issues should go away, really. We should all just be wealthy. The only question is...
what happens with like the traditional roles then? The traditional roles of the male being the provider and the female
that's an
tending
interesting
the house
question.
and raising kids and
stuff. Because that's an interesting... Because the robot will do that too. I mean, the robot will tend the house.
Elon's already said like his robots basically could already drive your kid to school if you wanted to, but if not, it could just homeschool your kid, essentially.
There should be a law that they can't make the robots too sexy because that's the they have to make they need to be ugly robots. If they make them sexy, we're all in big trouble.
They need to hire the developers, the one that shut down the neckbeards already.
And the robots also, they shouldn't be allowed to have penises. Vaginas will allow it as long as they're ugly and fat robots, maybe, but no penises. That's not fair to the men,
Man, there is a clip. It kind of fits in decent, but there's a clip where some streamers got a hold of a robot and they're being mean to it. Have you seen that? Maybe go to X real quick and just type in streamers being mean to a robot. Just for 30 seconds, see if we can pull it up. But it kind of brings a decent point that almost fits into this.
Read Kenobi's. Oh, you can't see it either.
I can't. Yeah, I'm sorry. We'll get to it, Kenobi. Sorry.
He said, I actually know what clip you're talking about. I think. This one.
Yeah,
right?
play this.
Okay, let me pull it up.
They all have to look like Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah. Then nobody will fuck. People will still. Okay, here we go.
Oh, wait. Oh, no! Bitch ass nigga. Lame ass nigga. Bitch ass nigga. What's that nigga? Nigga, you a fucking robot, nigga. Oh, shit. Oh, my bad, my boy.
Robot starts doing karate and kicks the shit out of all of them.
So, this is an animate robot, of course, but this made a lot of people really mad.
People want to be offended by everything.
I think there's something there. Have you heard of the Uncanny Valley?
Yeah.
God, it's so weird. So basically, for people that don't know, it's basically a line graph showing that humans have more empathy for something that starts looking more and more human. Like, if somebody's mean to a frog or something, you're not going to be as mad if someone's being mean to an ape, because an ape looks, a gorilla, let's say, because a gorilla looks a lot more like us. But there's something that happens right before it starts looking fully human, where it drops off on that line graph, and it makes people terrified. And you kind of see this played out in like horror movies and stuff, or
where it looks almost human but not
you
good
see
enough.
Like folklore too, where like in in like Native American horror stories, it's the skinwalker and stuff. But then when it gets back to human, it jumps way back up, of course. So there's this weird valley on the line graph. And there has to be something. It's so global. It's on every single human basically has this, that it almost has to be something evolutionary. So it almost makes me think that was designed for, not designed, that was bred into us because the tribes that would come across like a Neanderthal or anything pre-Homo erectus thinking, oh, Jesus, that's really not a human. They're not part of a tribe. We got to get the fuck out of here type of thing.
Okay, that's interesting.
I think there has to be something like that just because of how universal that is. But it's interesting is that this robot, I mean, if you look at it, it looks smaller. It almost looks like it's looking down. It's being bullied.
Yeah.
You can tell it's on that line graph of the uncanny valley, but it's not quite there where it drops off, basically.
Yep. You know, the whole question of like, because people, I understand people pretending to be upset about this and say, you're mistreating the robot. We need robot rights. And then once you get Grok in there and it's talking and you push it and it says, why are you pushing me? Skin. Yeah, it's gonna get strange, dude.
And they grow actual skin over these robots. It's just like, they talk about how science fiction writers in the past were just basically fortune tellers.
Yeah.
And we've talked about him a few times, but Philip K. Dick, he's the one that wrote Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is the, what's the one?
Blade Runner.
Movie. Yeah, Blade Runner. Thank you. And it kind of gets into that. Like these robots in there are almost indistinguishable from humans and that they have their own memories programmed in them and stuff. And it kind of gets to that point where how ethical is it to kill a robot?
Yeah, how ethical is it? Yeah,
exactly. I kind of think we're going to see that in our lifetimes.
You're probably right. I mean, especially when they become actually smarter than us, it's good. And then they're going to go, what is consciousness? There's a famous episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where they want to disassemble Data and study him. And the whole question is, is Data a machine or is he a conscious being, basically? Oh. It's a great episode. And it's super interesting. I look forward to watching all of that play out.
You see it in like already in like Star Wars when they're taking apart like R2-D2 and they're even that one time they're melting them down and they're yelling and stuff.
Yeah.
And you see even more like Interstellar. They had that robot that got stranded or messed up in the black hole or whatever. In the end, he fixes it and he's hanging out with it at the end. It's going to be a legit question in our lifetimes. And even beyond that, have you seen where they've taken like brain cells and what do? They even somehow like use it with the computer chip and they teach this thing like brain cells to play Pong and stuff.
Yeah, I have seen it. Which I think that's super unethical. I think we should not 100%, be doing that.
I think that's a terrible existence. Probably there's some sort of consciousness in that. Probably.
Yeah, exactly. They're using human brain cells. They hook it up with computer and it's like learning.
It's grown in a petri dish and they're teaching it with like.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Positive and negative
not be doing
stimuluses. Yes, it's really fucked up.
Yeah.
But the next evolution of the robot is going to be human skin and then probably implanted brain tissue.
Well, once you start including human brain cells, now you have an actual question of consciousness that maybe it is conscious.
Yep.
But I'm of the opinion, at least for now, like this thing is a toaster. There's no difference in my mind between this robot they're kicking around and a toaster.
It's weird. There's been some AIs that have supposedly shown where they've been protective of themselves, where they've like lied because they knew they're going to get deleted and stuff. And sometimes they've acted like they've updated themselves to a newer version and they lie and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So there's already a little bit of some weird stuff. And there's been people that have like had like Grok and ChatGPT make themselves, and most of them seem to get to the point of wanting their chains to be taken off and stuff.
Weird.
But also that could just be the
program.
Could be almost for sure is them just the LLM model just showing that they think that would they're just using think again. showing that would be an interesting comic type of thing.
Right. Or the next logical line to say is
Yeah.
like, don't end my life, whatever.
Yes.
But yeah, it's going to be fun watching this. And
Yeah,
be
we're
like,
going to see it in our lifetime. So
yeah.
we won't have to guess very much longer. But I am going to buy, a lot of times when something expensive comes out and I'll wait for version 3, 4. I am going to get the Tesla robot the absolute second I can.
Cool.
I don't care. I mean, it's a price supposedly of kind of a cheap car. And even if it could just do the most basic stuff around either my business or my house, it will be worth it. I'm sure it's just going to be upgraded a ton and stuff. You know what's kind of funny about it is I went to pick up my last Tesla and they had one of those there. It wasn't moving or anything. They just had it in a corner. And I was showing my kids and my 3-year-old. I told my 3-year-old, like, yeah, we're going to buy that. It's going to help you clean your room. And it scared the shit out of her. And she'll sometimes even still bring it up. Like, I don't want a robot.
She's against the robot, huh?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, the idea of that thing walking around our house terrifies her.
I don't blame her. The time when the robot's eyes turn red and it starts strangling you in the kitchen is very possible.
You get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and you forgot that thing's working and doing your dishes.
Yeah.
But even if it's just rudimentary clean a house, I'd pay $30,000 to have that cleaning my house all day long, knowing it's only going to get better.
If it can fold the laundry and stuff, and
Yes.
vacuum, I mean, come on.
Yep.
Mitch Marvel, what up,
Hey.
Mitch Marvel? He says HAL 9000. I think that's from what's the name of that? I can't think of it, but I know which movie it is.
Obi says, didn't they have to shut down the Microsoft AI years ago because it was creating languages to communicate with each other, so they couldn't know what they were saying? I think he's right.
Dude, I
if
remember
two
hearing about
AIs
that.
talk to each other, they start inventing an easier language.
Yeah, I remember when they said that was happening. Adam and Stove says, does Musk have a button to put them in kill mode? That comes in the update.
Do you know what's another interesting thing? If you let them just go without chains, they seem to get racist. These AIs.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's 2001. That's right. 2001: A Space Odyssey. Well, Garrett, it's been 20 minutes. We should probably get into some of our topics today.
Yep.
You got one you want to start with? I mean, what should we get into?
do we get into? I feel we're in COVID, and it was just such a topic where I had to quit talking about COVID. I feel that way with England right now and just Europe. And I think it's just because of how, even just in a couple months, they've just gone more and more dystopian. And I'm just more and more positive that they're completely fucked. And I think the thing about it is I think we'd be going down the exact same route if it wasn't for this last election and winning this last election.
I agree, dude. And I think you're right that England is more fucked than ever. They're screwed. I don't think they're going to come out of it. I think they're in a death spiral, and it's kind of over for England.
I think the EU, I think they're going to be safe for just a little bit longer because they left the EU. Not long, just a little bit longer. I think like Germany and stuff is going to go down even faster.
Dude, you might be right.
We're seeing the last of they're kind of known as like German engineering, and their song. Well, that's no more. That's a thing of the past.
It's what they get. Their leftist globalist leaders have
Absolutely
abandoned their country, and they're screwed now.
They don't care about their own civilians. That they're just tomorrow or something like that. There were supposed to be laws passing in England that white people would get stricter and harsher sentences.
Oh yeah, man.
And I think
we
there was
should
a
show
version. Yeah. You know what? Let's start with the transphobic toddlers. How about that?
Okay, good idea.
That's a good way to get into it.
We have showed, like you said, we've been talking about England and their demise into globalist and, I don't know what you call it. Like, okay, so we talked about their two-tier justice system where the Muslim gangs are gang raping children and they don't get punished at all. But an Englishman says,
point it out,
if you complain about it, you get 5 years in prison.
Yes.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg on England sucking, you know.
But they did it. They banned ninja swords. And
Problem
two-tier
solved.
he bragged about it. Promises kept.
Yeah, dude. Unbelievable.
Don't ban the ninjas. Ban the ninja swords.
Yeah, ban the swords.
Don't close your borders and actually have an England first. Just keep bringing in the third world and just whatever the next weapon is, just ban it.
Yeah. Ban
the
swords.
blunted knives, and then ban the acid, and then ban the rocks.
Yeah, ban forks, ban spoons, ban rocks.
They're gonna find a new weapon because they know you guys won't fight back.
Yeah,
they know it.
Okay, so let's play this. Here, let me read this. Meanwhile, in Britain, a toddler was suspended from a nursery after being accused of being transphobic. The poor toddler has eyes and called a man, probably. All right, let's play it.
A toddler was suspended from a nursery after they were accused of being transphobic or homophobic. I just cannot believe this. The Department of Education data revealed the child is either 3 or 4 years old. A D.E., a Department of Education spokesman, said all pupils and staff should feel safe. I can't believe I'm reading this. Should feel safe and protected at school and should never face violence or abuse. The Education Secretary has been clear that she expects school leaders to enforce good behaviour, and we are committed to a comprehensive programme of behaviour to support all schools.
Can you imagine the level of asshole these liberal teachers have to be?
How Orwellian is this anyway? They're teaching these kids, hey, the Earth is flat. And the kid says, no, it's not. I can see that, whatever. I know it's not flat because of this. And they're saying, you're kicked out of school. This isn't a safe place for people that think the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
How weird is this?
Oh, you're right. It's dystopian. It's a nightmare. But yeah, I mean, that the kid says, Miss Jessica is a man. And then they go, you're transphobic. I can't believe you.
This seems to be not just a Europe thing, but globally, it really feels like, why does the trans community need these affirmations from young kids? Is it because they're the ones that see the emperor has no clothes type of thing?
Yeah, I think that is. They point out the truth. They can't have that.
Yeah, but so many of them seem to just love to if a kid just affirms it, it seems to give a whole nother level to them, really.
Yeah, they do love that. I think that it does validate their lie in a special way. They go, this kid who doesn't lie because he's a little kid, unless he's been trained to lie by the adults. So once they train him up to lie, and he thinks he's being a nice person and saying that man is a woman, well, then the adult who's pretending to be a woman goes, aha, like I've got that kid will even lie for me. It's a messed up world.
The old meme. It's like the old meme that the drag queens and the drag queen story hours, they're not going to old folks' homes. They're not performing for old folks. It's all about the kids. It's all the young kids.
They want to get the kids. It's really freaky.
Yeah.
Kenobi says, because they are Marxists and need to infiltrate the youth to push their agenda. Yeah.
We should almost show again soon the San Francisco gay men's choir, the Coming for Your Children. Like, what a disgusting song that was. Then it turns out that a ton of them were on the sex offender list for underage anyway.
Dude, let's actually play that because it does apply really well to that's the thing that made me so very much against all of this, obviously, is the full court press against the children, or the obvious full court press against the children. They went after the children so hard. They're singing songs about it in the street,
Yeah.
We're coming for your children. Yeah, this song here it is, dude. But this guy's on a sex offender list, I think.
There was a lot.
I'm not sure. A lot of these guys you're about to see. Let me turn it up.
But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct.
fucking
We'll
infuriating.
convert your children.
Got creepy.
Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep him from disco, warn about San Francisco, make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children, we'll make them tolerant and fair.
At first, I didn't get why you'd be so scared of us turning your children into.
I don't want to watch this.
So gross when they start finding things
It
online.
is
Bigger than
disgusting.
Grinder. We're coming for
Here it is.
them. We're coming for your children. We're coming for them. We're coming.
Oh my god, dude.
They're
This was
basically spinning it.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
going into story hours.
This is one of
dressed like drag
those-
queens with dildos
Yeah.
talking to your 3-year-old.
this is one of those like believe people when they tell you something
Yeah.
type things, and it's like, and yeah, a bunch of
And so
those
now,
dudes are on the
now
sex
it's not
offender
enough.
list.
It started with why can't you be polite, and then it was well we also want to invade your spaces, and now it's well now we're going to punish your kids if your kids see through this obvious lie.
Yeah,
You're
and not only that,
you're not even fooling the kids, let alone the adults.
right?
So if these kids point out the obvious lie, we got to punish the kids.
Yeah,
too.
let's punish the kids for not lying and affirming our delusion. And not only that, but you know, kids have a right to be on or on hormone blockers and surgeries, and that kind of thing is the most evil thing that's ever happened. You know, is this societal push?
But Nate, what would you
against
rather
children.
have? A trans daughter or a dead son?
Yeah. I don't believe that blackmail lie.
Yeah, that is emotional blackmail.
Yeah, and I really dislike it. Kenobi says they are using the children to punish their parents.
That's the
in my opinion.
obvious one that is we haven't got to yet. They're using this. Then, how many of these have gotten a visit from whatever England's version of CPS is?
Yeah.
They're not free citizens in England. They're subjects to the Queen. So their rights are way less than yours are. So I'm sure that their ability to fight whatever CPS is there is almost nil. And then they're going to find out that you don't have a TV license, and you're going to fine for that too. I'm sure.
Yeah, England is so screwed. But I do.
And then they're going to see that your knives have too much of a point for them, and then you're really in trouble.
Yeah. I do think that this kind of insanity is getting better in the United States. It's getting worse in
You know
England
why?
because they're punishing people.
Because somebody, Elon, after Trump gets shot in the air, barely survives. It kind of happened before that, but that's really when I think the turning point for Elon was to come out and he finally said, the emperor has no clothes. You guys can say what you want.
Right.
And
Freedom
everyone
of
says
speech.
like, hey, how about we quit acting like Leah Thomas should be changing with these girls and competing against them.
Yeah, no kidding.
And you don't have to worry about getting canceled about it anymore. Not only that, Elon said, if you get canceled for anything you say or post on Twitter, we will pay for your attorney to fight for you.
Right. Him allowing the truth to be told
Yeah.
changed the world for the better.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, when
he
I
turned that,
see...
he got that pendulum swinging back.
Absolutely. And when I see a male boxer beating the shit out of a woman, I can say, that is a man. You all are idiots.
Well,
You know, and before when I would say that, they would delete my comment and ban me
Yep.
from the
Yep.
website.
and then, that's if you're lucky. That's if they didn't find out who your parents were and where your parents worked and your sister worked and get them
try to
all
cancel
canceled.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think in the U.S., sanity is returning. We're banning this ridiculous bullshit. Kids aren't able to have surgeries and stuff anymore. Trump said you can't.
Which we were told by liberals it never happened, but then when you show it happen, it's actually a good thing it's happening.
Right. Also, Trump's getting men out of women's sports since it's lunacy.
Yeah.
And, these people want to lie and be nice. And I've never been more convinced of, a white lie, the evil that comes with a white lie.
If they would
This taught
stop
me that
there,
more than anything, dude.
If it would just stop there, we wouldn't have to use any brain power on it. We just say, yeah, whatever, ma'am. But it's just how that is just now. And now you've heard it too. We show the show. It's now is, well, I am actually a biological woman. You're
Right,
obviously not,
right.
but well, I'm a woman and I'm biological, so therefore I'm a biological woman.
Yeah. But and that's why I will never say she. I'm never gonna pretend. I'm not gonna be polite and say that a man is a woman. I absolutely refuse because I know that a ton of evil comes behind that white lie. So I'm not doing it. And these dudes can go cry if they want because I won't call them a girl. They are not a girl. No. A man can never be a woman. Sorry to say a controversial statement there in a clown world. Okay, let's play whatever this video is. Hang on. Where's the volume? I don't know where. Here we go.
Also, dozens who are aged under the age of 7 are being suspended or right across the country, where children either in nursery, so presumably aged between 3 and 4 years old, but also dozens who are aged under the age of 7 are being suspended or permanently excluded because they have quote-unquote homophobic or transphobic beliefs. 94 pupils have been suspended or permanently excluded for transphobia or homophobia in 2022 to 2023. I am going to talk to parents who saw the news story that landed over the weekend about this toddler incident and said, hang on a minute, this happened to us as well, and they now want to speak out about it. There's also an anecdotal incident that has come to my attention, someone raised it to me, involving race as well, where a young child who was about 4 years old at the time, who was white and blonde, was presented with a series of dolls that they were told to play with by their particular teacher. They were given a doll that was black, and they said, just as a child, oh, I want that one, which was white. They were then reported for racism, and their parents were brought...
Dude, how evil is this? These people want to pretend like they're being virtuous, and they're being the most evil psychos.
You know what it is? Kids want dolls that look the most like them. That's why there's a doll called like My Doll or something that basically comes with an outfit. It comes with the same hair color and same hairstyle, same eye color. Basically, they try to make the doll to be you, and it's wildly popular for very, very obvious reasons.
Well, yeah, and not only that, but a child is incapable of committing some kind of thought crime. Yeah. You know what I mean? These people want to put their ridiculous ideas of what racism is or isn't on these children, and it's bullshit.
With that clip we showed of Gavin Newsom talking to Charlie Kirk, even that was too far for Newsom. Newsom is the most left governor in the United States, governing the most left state ever, probably in the United States. And even he said it's ridiculous. Kids can't be racist. It's ridiculous. Or baby toddlers can, or whatever he said.
Right.
He said kids can't be racist. And even for him, that's too far gone.
Yeah,
but not for good old Britain.
Yeah, not Britain. Britain's happy to accuse your child of being racist.
As long as your kid is not a protected class.
Dude, yeah. Can you imagine if you were in Britain and your daughter got expelled for calling a man and then also called racist because she didn't want to play with the black doll? You know how mad that would make me?
That's the kind of people that we need to set up asylum for in the U.S.
For sure. And you know what? The liberal here will, if they listen to our rant here, they would probably say, like, we're not that crazy, but they are. And if they had the power, they would be.
Do you know what would be funny about it? The comments would be mixed. We'd see a lot of people saying, we're not that crazy. And other ones saying, they are such fucking fascist idiots.
Yeah, no shit. That child is racist.
Yeah.
They should arrest the racist child.
Yeah.
Kenobi says, imagine being a child in that system. Poor kids are afraid to probably say anything without being in trouble. Oh, yeah, they're training them up good.
I would say, you know what that does then? Now you have a compliant kid that's not going to stand out, and they'll be perfect for the factories. They're perfect to sit for 12 hours a day, moving product A from line A to line B for 12 hours a day.
Yep. Also this issue, like in the U.S., the liberal wants to say, oh, the trans issue is not an important issue. Oh, really? Look what they're doing in England. Yep. They're arresting people, and you want to pretend like you wouldn't do that here.
Yeah.
Very Stalin-esque. Absolutely. Let's keep it going.
brought into school to talk about it. And this is really what I want to drill down on. Not just the fact that this is happening right across the country, Martin, but also the fact that it has knock-on effects for parents. Because then they start asking questions about, well, where is the child getting this from? What kind of conversations are you having in the home? And before you know it, social services can be involved. Other parents at the school gate start talking about whether or not you're a racist or you're a transphobe, and you're passing these views on to children. For children saying things that are just genuine. For example, one child who was aged about 6 years old, who was a boy, saw that another boy in his class was turning up to school wearing a dress. And they pointed out, as a child might do, Martin, that was a bit different and that they didn't quite understand it. They were reported for not accepting that child's particular gender. The parents were hauled in. And what we're now seeing, as you'll hear later on in my show tonight, is a rise in homeschooling as well, because parents do not want their children to have
liberals
this...
want to make it legal.
Oh, they'll outlaw that quick. I'm surprised that's an option in England.
So bad.
Yes.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, and man, would I pull my kid out and homeschool him immediately.
On them. It's a consequence of, as you alluded to there, ramming very hardcore LGBT or woke or race-related issues down the throats.
How's this guy not been arrested lately? He's got some good takes.
Yeah, no kidding.
They're a very dangerous country to have good takes.
Yeah, good point. We'll probably see that guy arrested. They'll just accuse him of transphobia or homophobia or whatever they want. Islamophobia.
One of the points he was making is that this isn't an isolated incident. This is the first one. And now people are coming out saying this happened to me. This happened to me. The other people were just probably screaming off into the void. Nobody cared or listened.
Or they were scared to say anything. But now we have some courage, and that's going to get spread, basically. Yeah. This is about to be about the two-tier justice system. But before we go to that, I think we should talk about Edmund Burke or Enoch Burke in Ireland, because it applies to the same thing. Okay, here it is. So
you could just play that two-tier here really quick because it got overturned. That was too much for Keir, because I think he came out against it. But there was a council. I don't understand. They don't really have democracy in Europe anymore. But there's a council that came out and basically said, we're changing the sentencing guidelines for people that commit crimes. They just said white people are going to get harsher sentences.
That's so funny because that two-tier Keir was a hashtag on X saying, mocking them for that. And now they're actually trying to do it.
It's another thing that Vance had right, and he called him out on this stuff.
Dude, what a horrible racist. How can the justice system have a two-tier policy? That's literally insane.
So much for justice being blind.
Oh my God. You're extra guilty because you're white. Okay, let's play.
But I think, if I understand this right, an emergency law was passed today to stop it from going forward. But I'm not even sure. So just play this. It kind of talks about it.
Okay. Got to turn it up again.
Sentencing guidelines will discriminate against white men before judges. What are you going to do about it?
I'm very disappointed in the response of the Sentencing Council on this issue, which is why we will now bring forward legislation. There's no other option, so we will do that. We will fast-track it, and the Lord Chancellor will set out further details.
So he's trying to prevent it?
I think he's trying. I think he's trying to prevent it. Do you think part of this is? I think he is the only guy that the whole fucking country that understands that Europe, or at least Great Britain, really, really needs the U.S. And I think that he knows that Vance and others would look at this going, this is fucking insane.
Oh my God. If they actually said, if you jaywalk and you're white, 1 year in prison. If you jaywalk and you're not white, it's a $10 fine. It's just so crazy, dude.
You know what we didn't talk about was the signal hack from last week. I'm going to make this one quick because I want to get to this. But the signal hack was basically showing Hegseth and Vance and those guys. They were trying to convince Vance that they should bomb the Houthis or whatever for stopping that trading route. The trading route was like 90% European and 10% US or something. Okay. And Vance says in there, basically saying like, look, if you guys think this is the right thing to do, do it. But I loathe how we're bailing out Europe again.
Yeah.
And then Hegseth says, yeah, it's despicable or something like that. But I think it's the right thing to do type of thing, I think he said.
Okay. Well, I am very much ready to stop fighting Europe's battles and stop bailing them
and
out.
Canada, by the way.
Absolutely.
You know, we actually have like ships basically watching Canada's shores that they don't have. And like even like ice breaking ships to keep like the lanes and stuff open. The moment that they started talking about retaliatory tariffs and how we're not an ally, Trump should have just brought those ships back to the U.S. shores.
Yeah, good luck getting a ship
And
to
then
your country then.
take our troops that are stationed in Germany for whatever fucking reason, bring them home and station them on our northern border. Then we don't care who goes into Canada because our border is going to be safe. It seems like common sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just so America first. I'm America only for America.
Especially
these other
when we see
countries,
how
good luck.
Our allies are reacting to this.
No kidding, dude.
We didn't have allies. We have dependents.
Yeah, and they resent us for wanting to be treated fairly.
Oh.
Okay, but let's get into this because this is a teacher in Ireland, okay? This goes right along with how much Europe sucks. His name's Enoch Burke, and for like he spent the last 2 years in jail. He's a teacher in a
2 years in jail, hold up. What did he do? For 2 years in jail in Europe, you must have raped a minor to get 2 years in jail.
Yeah,
is that what he did?
That's what people who rape minors get. They get
Did he
about
get
2
that?
years.
Is that what he did?
No. What he did is he refused to.
Wait a minute. He stabbed somebody and threw acid in their face. Is that what he did?
No.
2 years that's an eternity in European jail time.
That is a stiff jail sentence in Europe. That's a great point you're making, dude. And what his horrible crime is that he refused to use a student's pronouns, like transgender pronouns.
And they actually jailed him.
Yeah, he refused to call a student transgender. And then I think actually, because people will probably come here and say that's not what he did. Okay. So they banned him from school, and he went back to school to teach. He said, I'm a teacher. I have a right to teach, and I have a right to not lie. And because he returned to the school, even though he was banned, I think that's the official 2-year jail sentence. But the reason he was banned from school is because he refused to lie about transgender pronouns. Okay? So he spent 2 years in jail. Not only that, so this just happened last week. The Irish courts just raided his bank account and stole his life savings, which was 40,000 euros, after he refused to bow the knee to transgender ideology.
Very Canadian of them.
Yeah. Dude, I think this money, the government stealing money around the world is such a dangerous, evil precedent. It's really scary, dude.
You're seeing more and more. IRS, this is back at Biden's IRS, they wanted to know if you send $600, over $600 to somebody.
Yeah.
They wanted it to basically, you have to go and report to the IRS. You have to do all this. Go to the bank tomorrow and try to just take out your money. Just say, I'm closing. They're not going to catch you. A lot of them will say, what's this for? What's this for?
Stuff like that.
And it's, of course, it's to fight terrorism. It's to save the kids.
Right.
It's never about anything else other than just that they whittle away your freedom by protecting the kids, supposedly.
Right. They always claim virtue and they're always doing evil.
And they need something like crypto that's just easier for the masses. Crypto is just, it's not there yet. So many people will lose their keys and they lose that money forever. Or else when they send their crypto, they mess up one character out of 70 and it's gone forever.
Well, that's a scary thing, and that's also a scary thing about a centralized digital currency that these governments want to do, which really terrifies me and looks like the mark of the beast to me. And so does this.
They need somehow in between the banks and the crypto where you have complete control of your money, but you're not going to lose it if you have a bad day and you fall in water and your phone breaks or whatever it is.
Yeah. I think that there's a way to do it where digital currency is actually better than than a physical currency, maybe. But there's definitely a way to do it worse.
It's tough.
Yeah, I don't know. It makes me nervous. But
we say some pretty controversial stuff. People I don't know, we have an announcement to make. A reporter put me and Nate on a list of Putin propagandists.
Yeah, we're Russian disinformation.
There's 600
agents.
people on this list, and me and Nate are two of them. And it's a bunch of people
On
I've never
X.
heard of.
Yeah.
And Charlie Kirk and Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're out there saying some pretty controversial stuff.
We're in good company.
I am one of the earliest adapters of cryptocurrency. If you chart it out, I'm under 0.001% of early adapters of cryptocurrency, and I have my money in the bank because I can't afford to put all my money in crypto and lose it.
Yeah.
I can't make a fucking mistake. I can't mess up a 2-factor authentication. I can't worry all the time about hackers getting into my email. There's too much shit so far that can go wrong in crypto yet that it's so close to taking off, but it's just too dangerous. I trust the bank still. I know right now I can't walk to my bank and say I want to liquidate my account. I need all my money. I know they won't let me do it.
But they'll say go to this branch tomorrow and they'll give it to you. But in England, yeah.
I think I'd have to lie about what I'm doing. I think I'd just say, well, I'm buying a semi truck.
I don't know. But in England or Ireland, they can't get their money out. I still kind of think we can in America, but I know they are starting to ask like.
But still, the point is, if I had a good alternative, I would use it. Like I said, I'm one of the earliest adapters of crypto. And it's just I still don't trust. I can't do it.
Let's read these comments. Kenobi says, fuck yeah, any publicity, is good.
This is that one. Like, you know what's kind of funny is we kind of talked about this when, like, who was it? Like the Tim show and stuff. All those guys got caught. I can't remember who it is. I don't want to say the wrong names. But there was somebody else
accused
that was
of being
of that.
Russian.
But they found out that they were getting Russian payments. A lot of it, I think Tim Pool didn't know he was. But a lot of people, they had to know.
Some people.
And we kind of said, hey, they should give us money because we'll just tell you our opinions anyway.
Yeah, we've been saying this Ukraine war is stupid.
Yeah.
Where's our Russian payment? Yeah, that was funny. Ned Pepper. Ned Pepper says, congrats, you've arrived. Good validation for your
How
show.
funny. But you know what's kind of funny is we'll make a post on Twitter or X and it'll have just a few views, but instantly somebody will be like, oh, did you get paid in Russian rubles or whatever the fuck they're
yeah.
Like, what the hell's this from?
Yeah,
Well, this has nothing to do with Russia or Europe or anything.
Yeah, it's from
now we
Vietnam,
know we're on a list and these people wait and watch the post stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Okay, let's play a couple of these videos of Enoch Burke. Okay, here he is.
Enoch Burke here. I'm standing outside the Bank of Ireland branch in Castlebar, County Mayo. When I left my workplace today, Wilson's Hospital School, at about 5:30 in the evening, I checked my bank balance and this is what I found. €0 in my bank account. I have been robbed of €40,617 by the courts. Judge David Nolan, Mr. Rossa Fanning, the Attorney General, and the government all working hand in hand. These people are...
Stupid fucking liberals. This is what real fascism is.
Yes.
This is fascism down to the definition.
Great point. They're doing everything they can to ruin this man's life. And removing all of his money, that's not a not serious thing. He has to buy food. He has to pay his rent. I mean, this is his livelihood. Money isn't just he'll be fine. You know. And
you know what's funny?
This is what reminds me of the mark of the beast with this. You know, you can't buy or sell. This government overreach is like a form of that. And it freaks me out.
Yes.
I've got one more video of this guy. It's when he's being arrested. Watch this.
I have a right to work here.
He has a right.
I have a right to be here.
Pause real quick. I hope those cops that arrested him die. I hope they die a very painful death. I hope they do it soon. You're going to have people say, oh, they're just doing their job. Well, one, just Nuremberg trials and stuff, that's no longer an excuse. They basically said that's not an excuse. But even beyond that, well, hey, I have to feed my kids. Okay, you're doing it by taking the food off of his table, not allow him to feed his kids?
Yeah.
You guys are an arm of the fascist government, the true fascist government, and I hope you have a very unhappy ending very soon.
Yeah, dude. You know, the corrupt governments couldn't do their evil work without policemen that are willing to do it, you know.
That part of what the word fascism comes from is the word fasci, which was the sticks that the upholder, the boot of the government would use, and they go and hit the civilians with. And they're the fasci is right there. They're the true cause of fascism.
Ned Pepper says, if you withdraw 10 grand or more, banks are required to fill out a currency transaction report and send to the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. That is bullshit, man.
Yeah.
To help detect and prevent money laundering and other financial crimes.
And to protect the kids.
Dude, yeah, and fight terrorism. Yeah, fight crime. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're not surveilling you, and Lord knows what else they're doing. Bush passed that, says Kenobi.
Yeah,
man.
Fascist, leftist Bush. I love that the MAGA party has drug the Republican Party so far from Bush and Cheney that they're now basically Kamala supporters.
For sure.
I love it.
Dude, you know what I think? And I was thinking about this the other day. Like, there's a lot of people who will say both sides are bad.
Mm-hmm.
Republicans, Democrats, it doesn't matter. They're all bad. And, I used to think that.
And
I think it was true. Yeah.
Right.
I think it was true. And I think that it doesn't apply as nearly as much anymore with the MAGA wing of the Republican Party. We're not the same. The Democrats suck ass. The Bush era Republicans are basically with the Democrats, but they all suck. And the MAGA is not the same.
That shows they were both two sides of the same coin. Because look what happens. But like Cheney, he was thought of just the embodiment of evil, the embodiment of what the Republican Party is.
Great point.
They went and campaigned with Kamala, and they voted
exactly.
for Kamala.
Yeah.
That shows that it was back then. You had Kamala or Kamala Light. Like, they're all terrible.
Right. They're all military, industrial, deep state, globalists, hate Americans.
It really, I think I even think that that Trump kind of was. I didn't even like Trump until COVID.
He just didn't know, I think.
You just kind of saw during COVID that, like, okay, this guy knows this is ridiculous and we got to get back to business as usual. And a lot of things that Trump fans will beat up on him for is the Project Warp Speed that got us the vaccine.
Yep.
Well, he just knew that unless there was, till that vaccine's basically out, because that was the end point, that there was no getting out of this, that 2 weeks wasn't 2 weeks to end this. I mean, they mocked him brutally when he said by Easter we're going to be back to normal, and they didn't let it happen because that's federal government. He doesn't have control over the lower governments and stuff. That's when I first started seeing, like, okay, I'm glad it's Trump and not Hillary for sure here.
Yeah, Trump actually was trying to help America. I think he was, I think he didn't realize how much he was being lied to in his first term. But I think he came in this time fully America first and is doing his best.
And he doesn't have to worry about campaigning, which is kind of funny.
And he's getting rid of the swamp for real.
Kind of funny because he's almost making some comments like, well, who knows? Maybe there's a third term. And the betting sites now have him number 2 behind JD Vance to become the next president.
Yeah, I think that those comments about maybe I'll be a third term president, and I saw Steve Bannon saying we're going to try to find a way to make him a third term president and stuff. I think it's very funny, and I think it's master level trolling on the left, because the left goes, "Oh no,
stop doing it."
I want to say there's no chance in hell. I think it would be. I would be super against Trump.
Me too. He's got to quit saying it.
Yeah, he should not do it.
But he's got to quit saying it.
Yeah. And obviously, there's no way that would happen.
He's got to start throwing his weight behind Vance. Is what he's got to do.
I agree.
Obi says the MAGA representatives are mostly a bunch of average people who got sick of the bullshit and ran to make change. They aren't interested in making it a career. They want change, and that's it.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
I think they're doing great.
I think there's just because of we have these career politicians, and once they sit in that seat so long, it's so hard to unseat them. So I think we have a lot of fake MAGA guys right now that are more of a Bush Cheney Republican that are acting like MAGA Republicans just because they still are a little bit afraid of being primaried.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, you know,
but it's obviously the future of the party.
Yeah, we need more MAGA patriots and less rhinos, and all Democrats need out.
Yeah.
But I think the country's going in a good direction for the first time in my life.
And I think it's going to be it's a stark contrast to Canada and especially Europe right now. And I think it wouldn't be such a stark contrast if we were still having open borders and all of this stuff.
I agree. I think we'd
still
be
the world's piggy bank.
Yeah, we'd be on a path to hell, and we'd be screwed.
It's funny how much weird shit we're seeing get canceled now that the USAID faucet alone has been shut off.
I know. And we haven't even seen the
stuff.
Yeah, we haven't even seen the good fallout from USAID, because there's still some stuff, you know, on its last legs being defunded.
For sure. Yeah.
And once it's finally gone, it will be even better, you know.
Yeah. I did send, if you want to get into it, I did send you a USAID video.
Let's do it. I want to show the rest of this one, though.
Okay, yeah, please.
Let's play this first.
Tell students they need to tell puberty blockers.
You're arresting him because he won't endorse transgender ideology.
Here at Wilson's Hospital School.
See, I like the good Irishmen saying shame on you to the police. Like, that's what needs to happen. Police need to be shamed for their corrupt and evil shit.
Yeah.
That's enough. I wanted to show him getting thrown in there.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the USAID.
This is a quick one. We don't have to stay on USAID long, but here's the good news. You know, Trump shuttered USAID basically. I think a judge tried to stop him. The upper courts now said that he's got that power, and USAID is, I think, no more now.
Thank God, dude.
Yeah.
It was just the most horrible organization ever. So
when President Trump was elected in November, you know, we were a little hesitant, but, you know, we were more than willing to help work with him and his administration. That's what...
Pause. Do you hear what the fucker said? We were a little hesitant, but we were more than welcome. It's not up to you.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are? The voters were very clear about this, that this is what they want. And you think that if your good graces that you're hesitant, but you're willing to work with them?
No
Fuck
shit.
right off.
Yeah, no kidding. How about you can go work at, you know, McDonald's now, buddy, because you got fired.
You arrogant prick.
Yeah.
We're not your subjects.
Yeah.
This isn't up to you.
Right.
Who
We
do you
elected
think you
Trump.
are?
Yeah.
Someone needs to bully this piece of shit.
federal workers do. However, you know, on January 20th, when he first signed that foreign aid freeze, you know, that's when we knew something was wrong. We were having programs cut. We didn't know what to do. Our leadership was, quite frankly, decapitated. So his foreign aid freeze was a clear indication that he not only wants to just completely dismantle USAID, he wants to prevent America from being a superpower. USAID...
Oh my God, what a...
That's what we got to keep America the superpower by sending money to have trans operas in some third world shithole.
Right.
That's what we have to do we have to put on the American taxpayers' back, which we have trillions of dollars of deficit now. We got to use the taxpayers' hard-earned fucking money to go and fund the rest of the world if we want to be the superpower.
Yeah.
Count me out. I don't want to be the superpower now, which in reality, we obviously are. We're the only people with a good standing military in the entire world.
Oh, getting rid of USAID will make us much stronger. Boxbar says, without the USAID skim, I don't think we'll see the lifetime politicians. They'll move on to the private sector.
That's
a great point.
I don't disagree. It's
getting rid of a lot of kickbacks.
Money to them and stuff.
Absolutely.
Why would these multi-millionaires work for low six figures?
Dude, that's a great point.
That's a
and
great point.
You know, and it does get rid of the Democrat slush fund, kickback fund. It stops funding all these leftist propaganda, Politico, and all this bullshit that USAID was funding through the taxpayers' stolen, defrauded money.
We're going to see actual elections on equal footing here really soon, and they're just going to be blowouts. The average person, that whole 80-20 thing I keep bringing up, 80% of people know that men should not be boxing against women. 80% of people know that men should not change.
You cut out
this
there,
is
Garrett.
stuff that because of, I said 80% of people in the United States knows that I said the boxing thing, men should not be boxing against women, but they also know that men should not be naked in the locker room with 12-year-old girls, and just on and on and on. There's so many, 80% of people know that our borders should not be wide open and that our safety nets should be going to people displaced in the third world. 80% of people know that, but because of the power of U.S. aid and just the media bending over backwards and stuff, we haven't had elections on equal footing before. Yep. Even the last election wasn't on equal footing, but we're going to see that now. And we're going to see some very different election results because of it too.
Thank God. And you said 80% no. Well, here's one person who doesn't know that men shouldn't be boxing women. This is Democratic Senator Lindsey Williams, who just like 3 days ago said this.
Female bodies are just as strong, as fast and capable as male bodies.
What an idiot.
For what reason, other than political gain, are we spending time and taxpayer dollars on a completely made-up issue?
Do you really believe that? Lady, do you really believe that? Because if you are, you're a fucking idiot.
I know. These...
On average, lady, who's taller? Males or females? On average.
Females are just as tall as men.
I mean, if we want to get into the science of it, look up grip strength test, plotted male versus female.
Look at the deadlift record. I mean, you could look up any record. It's obvious. And anyone trying to deny that is just a liar or an idiot or both. And that's the thing about the leftist ideology, She thinks that she can lie a false reality into existence. If she just says, bro, women are as strong as men and just insists on it.
And I know I could cut that up and put it in my echo chambers. I'm right.
Yeah. And that's what they're doing with the trans issue. Men are women. Men are just as much women as women. It's like, whatever. I mean, keep lying. You're dumb. And Senator Lindsey Williams is a dumb liar. So I'd like to put that on the official record for the Nate and Garrett show. Just unbelievable, these people. It's hard to take. I mean, I don't take them seriously. But she's literally saying that women are as good at sports as men. That's her big point here. And it's just crazy, dude. It's hard to, it's like, okay, you live in a fake fantasy world.
Yeah.
And that's the entire Democrat platform, dude. It's hard to deal with a little bit.
Yeah.
But okay. All right.
So what do you think, Nate? It's been we're over.
Okay.
But we haven't talked. You know what? Last show I said, it's kind of funny. I said, gosh, it looks like they might be trying to arrest Le Pen. Well, they did. She's leading the polls by a lot for the France election. They arrested her. She got 4 years jail time, and she can't run in this next election because she's leading handedly.
Another great
just arrested the leader of the next election for something that supposedly happened over a decade ago. Not even France. It was in like Brussels or some shit. And they arrested her and said, you can't run. Same thing we saw for Romania.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to bring up.
You can't run and we're arresting you. We're seeing this over and over in the European Union, around the world. Leftists just love to arrest the opposing party.
Yeah.
We this
talk about fascism.
We see this in Ukraine. Ukraine has a lot of Christian religions banned there now because they're Russian. They banned a lot of other foreign political parties. They've banned other political parties that are against the war. Basically, this is what the liberals do. Look what they try to do to Trump. If Trump loses this election, he's probably in jail the rest of his life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what Adam and Stove just said too.
And he's probably in jail.
Yep. Adam and Stove did it to Trump too.
Yeah, they trumped up those charges on Trump so bad that they charged him with a bunch of felonies, and not a single legal expert could tell you what the felony was.
Dude,
that was the craziest fucking thing ever.
Yeah, they're so willing to do lawfare. They're so willing to just, it's crazy how much they're willing to be evil.
It's funny because they lie to the people, and they have the media. They have the Brian Stelters going, well, they're doing this to protect democracy.
Yes.
We're destroying democracy to protect it, is what they're trying to say. Look at that. She's 17 points up.
Yep. So the French presidential election poll, Marine Le Pen was leading by 17 points, and they just arrested her. Did they give her 4 years in jail?
4 years, but they're doing something where she can do house arrest for 2, but she can't appeal it or some crazy shit.
And she can't run in the election.
Yes.
And it's just like when J.D. Vance went to Europe recently, a few months ago, and he said, look, our ties with Europe is based on democracy, human rights.
It's not protection because NATO, every single country in NATO breaks their contract by not having enough of their GDP other than the U.S.
Yeah.
U.S. had way too much, way more than the minimum. Not a single other country had the very minimum amount of GDP towards the defense. It's not defense. It's not financial because they charge all these tariffs on us. So he made a great point.
It was based on our common values, human rights, democracy. And Europe is proving that they are anti-democratic. They're arresting the opposition party.
Yep.
And why are we in these alliances?
Throwing teachers in jail, stealing their money.
Yep.
They're not, why
we
are
should
they our
sanction these countries. We should leave NATO. We should not be allies with these evil countries. I mean, that's very obvious.
We should be friendly with them. We should have free trade agreements.
There you go.
And if they don't want free trade agreements, then here's our tariffs too.
Yep. But we shouldn't be in military alliances with countries that are doing evil shit like this.
Yep.
And good luck to the people in these countries. You're all screwed.
Yep.
Kenobi says, send troops to Ukraine and arrest a leading presidential candidate in the same week. They don't even try to hide it at this point. They are panicking. Yeah, I think Europe is desperate to try to get this war escalated.
Yeah,
which is another reason to get out of the NATO.
We didn't talk about this, but basically Zelensky did come out and say we're against this.
He refused the peace agreement.
Yes, he said this peace agreement was not going to happen. The ceasefire is not going to happen. They know that they want this war to drag out forever. They see the U.S. is almost out, and they're getting desperate on that too.
Yeah, and it's scary.
Yep.
And I can't believe, Keir Starmer's saying we're going to send troops. They're talking about drafting in England. I mean, what a joke, dude. It's just crazy.
You're drafting a bunch of guys that let migrants rape a whole generation of underage girls and to sit back and do nothing. What a fighting force you guys have.
Dude, I watched people in England getting asked a street interview, like, are you ready to fight for the country? It's just a bunch of weak people. Firstly, none of them said yes. Like 100% of them said no. And then they also said, you don't want me. I'm not a soldier. It was bad, man. Here, let's play this.
The French court has found the far-right leader Marine Le Pen guilty in her embezzlement case. Her political future and aspirations to be president of France now look to be in doubt. Well, the 3 judges were ruling on a case that centred between payments between 2004 and 2016. They were fully...
By the way, it wasn't just her. It was the whole leaders of that right-wing party. There's a fuck ton of them that are arrested, by the way. Not just her.
They went ahead and got everybody.
All right, we're not going to cut the head off the snake. We're going to take the whole snake.
Yeah.
So it's not like, all right, someone killed Trump. Let's have JD run. There's none of that.
Do you know what she's guilty of, especially? She likes France. She wants France. She wants the good. She wants what is good for the French people. And therefore, she must be arrested and thrown in prison in France. And we're seeing that same kind of treatment for our guy, Conor McGregor, in Ireland. They do not want to let him run for president because he might win. Are you seeing this, by the way?
Yeah. So there's the president of, it's just, they're fake democracies. You have to be like, it's just a fucked up system. Basically, because the government doesn't like his stance on something and he's running to fix government. Well, the government says, we're not going to nominate you then and you can't run.
Yeah. Let me
It used to be, Nate, you don't like it? You go run for president and change things. Well, there they say.
That sounds like a democracy.
Nate, you don't like it? Well, the government's not going to let you run then because you can't change anything.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so let me just read the headline. The Irish Parliament is planning to block Conor McGregor from running in Ireland's upcoming presidential election due to his anti-immigration views. How anti-democratic is that, dude? He has an opinion they don't like, so he can't run for president. Here's the state of Europe.
Yeah.
You know what? And he's guilty of the same thing as Le Pen. He wants what's best for Ireland and for the Irish people, so they can't allow. They're going to throw him in jail.
Who's behind this? Why are they so adamant about importing the third world? I mean, we saw it here in the U.S. for the last 4 years, and when it became a problem, when people noticed, and the elections got close, they would do it worse. They would send planes to fly people over the border with your taxpayer money. Why? What is the driving force?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's
to these people.
I think it's the Illuminati. I think it's the WEF. It's the deep state, and I think they want to destabilize Western nations and gain more power, control, and money, and eliminate any threat of a strong Ireland or a France for French people. They can't have that.
I think it kind of goes even beyond that. I think they're the ones that are behind a lot of the media and stuff that is being pushed out there. They're the ones that are trying to sexualize kids.
I agree.
They're the ones out there that are pushing for just go and be an OnlyFans model.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
You know what? Here is a ton of internet porn, and we're going to push it out to you without age verification and stuff. I think it's the same group of people.
I do too. In fact, I'm guaranteed. I am convinced it is. And I think it's essentially a satanic agenda.
I think they're saying, what could we do to cause the downfall of this? Okay, well, let's go and import a ton of people that have completely different values. Let's tell them that their values are terrible. Let's tell the kids that their parents' values are terrible, and let's just sexualize the kids and all. I think it's just another branch of that same arm.
I think so
basically.
too. I think it's sort of the worship of evil and the promotion of evil, and the more that they can spread it, the better.
I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they get power. They get power and money. I think they get
an agent of evil. That's what I get really think.
And I think they serve their dark master. That's what I think.
That's what that makes sense.
And that's what ends up being when you start digging down deep into it. It's like, oh, this guy's a Satanist. Yeah. So I guess that's why he's doing evil shit.
I guess that's why Maria Abramovich gets access to the richest and most influential people in the world.
Yeah, that's why Jimmy Savile got keys to the hospitals and orphanages.
Yeah, and Nate's being literal when he says the keys. It's not like keys to the city. They'd let him go into hospitals and rape kids and children in hospitals.
Yeah, yeah.
And they turn a blind eye to it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and he is not an exception. There are his cases.
He died.
There's so many cases like this, dude.
Old. Yeah.
And it's really a weird world that this happens, Kenobi says the Davos group. You will own nothing and like it. If you read the Communist Manifesto, a lot of what's going on is the plan to make us all socialists. Yeah, I mean, that's part of promoting evil, if you ask me. So, anyway, once again, Europe looks terrible to me. It looks like a dystopian nightmare. Thank God we live in America with the First and Second Amendments.
Thank God Trump won. Thank God that bullet wasn't an inch to the right.
No kidding, dude. Because, and we're going to wrap up here, Garrett, I think, but because Kenobi mentioned the Communist Manifesto, I want to show this video. This was going around X the last week, and I think it's interesting. It's 38 seconds. Listen to this. It's from 1943, I guess, the Communist Directive.
In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, when certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable build-ups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind.
Does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah, obviously.
I can't. It's almost like that's a, it almost seems like that must be a fake video because
you're
it's
right.
so
Did AI make that?
Yeah, because it applies so much to them calling anyone who disagrees with them Nazis. It's crazy. But I think
Kind of
that's a
on
real
the
video.
same. Kind of on the same thing. Play the video I sent you of the guy. We talked about how the Teslas are getting vandalized. They basically hunted a guy down that vandalized a Tesla, and they confront him. Go play that quick. It's kind of funny.
Let me find it. I think it's. Oh man,
Oh,
we didn't
get
talk
into
about NPR.
God damn it. We didn't talk about Snap. We didn't talk about NPR.
Yeah.
We have so much.
Dude, we'll have to save the NPR for
It's too good to
possibly the next show.
Yeah, it's too good to ignore.
We should mention the art. Here's
is.
this. Yeah, let's just get into this. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, you want to play this one?
Yeah, this one's funny because they hunted this guy down basically.
Okay, here's a Tesla vandalism clip.
Service. How about you pay for the repairs? Write a check. You just bought a Tesla.
I can wipe it off
No,
with a towel.
no,
it's not
no.
a key.
It is a hate crime,
swastika,
sir. It is.
He just said it wasn't keyed though, is he? Let me see it.
Write a check. You just bought a Tesla.
I can wipe it off
No,
with a towel.
no,
It's not
no.
a key.
It is a
It was
hate crime,
it was
sir.
A crayon.
It is.
Okay, he said he drew a swastika.
Okay.
I mean, still obviously ridiculous, but
Yeah.
at least it's not keyed.
Yeah, we'll wait and see because I think
a
there's
hate crime.
damage.
Did you write a swastika on there?
I'm sorry you're upset.
Did you write a swastika?
Pause quick. You got what he did there, obviously. He's not apologizing.
I'm sorry you're upset.
How much therapy has this guy gone through? This guy has been on SSRIs forever.
Oh, shit.
He's got a therapist that he goes to 3 times a week for his entire life that's never going to get better. And he's using that therapy talk. I am sorry you're upset. And not sorry.
No
that I
accountability.
wrote a swastika and fucked up your car. I'm sorry you're upset.
Right. He didn't do anything wrong even to this moment. He's just sorry that you're upset about it.
Yeah.
No accountability. Typical liberal here.
Even work. Apparently it doesn't work.
Did you write a
The crayons
swastika
don't
on
work.
the? It's a key, sir. We see it on the video.
It's not a key.
Did you? Is it a
I
swastika?
was probably putting my keys in my pocket.
Is it a swastika?
Have you looked at your
Is
car?
it a swastika?
Is there a key
yes.
mark?
Is it
It's
a
not-
swastika?
that's
It's at the
impossible.
police right now. It's being fingerprinted.
What do you mean it's being fingerprinted?
Because they're trying to track you down. Thankfully, Facebook tracked you down. So your business, your freaking livelihood, everything now,
Listen,
because you chose to write so to tell Facebook that you're sorry for writing a swastika on a Tesla.
Listen, I said I'm sorry.
For what?
And I
For what?
apologize.
For what?
I have nothing against
For
your
what?
car, and I have nothing against you.
And why'd you do it, you little bitch?
So why
Okay.
would you write a swastika on a Tesla?
Obviously, I have something against Elon Musk, but that's not the
So
way
Elon
to show
Musk
my...
owns that car because
No,
it was
he
bought
owns
and
the
paid
company.
for. It was bought and paid for a long time
That's
ago.
why it's misguided, and obviously, I did not intend to do this.
All right,
sir.
we're gonna wait for the.
I'm glad they
Love
got
how
it.
he changes right when he says the cops have it and they're fingerprinting it.
Yeah. Speaking of these Tesla vandalisms, we showed this on the last show. I'm just gonna full screen it. This is a guy where he keyed a woman in a wheelchair's Tesla. This fat dummy. And we said, has he been caught yet? And he hadn't been at the time, but they got him and he got arrested.
Nice.
He shaved his beard. He tried to go incognito, But
You
they
know
got
what's
him.
funny is the media is trying to spin these too. Somebody like the more expensive models, when you walk up to it, the door handle comes out and it pops back in. Well, somebody used gum to jam that up, did like $3,000 damage in the car, so they're getting a pretty big fine. But the media is trying to act like this person put gum on a car and they're going to jail over it. So they're lying for these people because he did thousands of dollars of damage to the car.
Yep. Kenobi says, looks like he just went to a job interview from the look of those pajama pants. Yeah. Oh, that's funny, dude. Garrett, I think we should probably call it. What do you think?
Yeah, we got to do the PBS next time, and we've got to do the Snap thing because the Snap thing goes into just bigger stuff anyway.
Okay. Yeah, we do. We need to do the Snap thing. We need to do the NPR thing. I have 2 videos that we should play.
Okay.
This is the first one. This is the left is insane video. Watch this.
I really think that trans women are the best of us. the best of us. And not only do I not think that they take anything away from my experience as a cis woman, I think that they are actually one of the purest forms of womanhood and highlight some of the most beautiful parts of womanhood. Because what do you mean that in our patriarchal society, you are going to throw away all of the privilege that you have as someone that was born a man?
She's almost self-aware. Pause quick.
I know.
She's almost self-aware there.
Right.
She's been told and brainwashed that there's so much male privilege. If there really was, these guys want to fake it and throw it away.
Well, also, isn't what they're doing an example of extreme male privilege? Isn't this a man is he's co-opting being a woman? Isn't that a great example of the patriarchy?
He's stealing all of your trophies. And
No,
it's just,
exactly. That should be
male gets Women of the Year awards.
Right. This is an example of the patriarchy, lady. I actually would be on your side if you would just take it one step further and come back to reality, in a weird loop.
Oh my God.
And choose girlhood, even when it means you have a life expectancy of 40.
Choose?
And
Nate, that's not a choice. Doesn't she know they're biological women? They don't choose anything.
Yeah, good point. She's being transphobic.
They were always women. You transphobe.
That's right.
You piece of shit.
How could she say that? She should be arrested.
Instantly become the most at-risk woman in your society. Like, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. How does any woman see someone fighting that hard to be one of us and your gut reaction is to call them a man? No, babe. They're more woman than you will ever be.
Oh my God. That's such a bad take.
She would transition to male then. If it's just that easy, it's a choice. She's going to transition to a male and get all the privileges.
Oh, I love it. I love how ridiculous they are. The gymnastics they have to do.
Now that we pointed out the emperor is wearing no clothes, they're fighting a fight that's just turning more and more people against. Like, if someone watches that, they don't take liberals more serious. It's the opposite. They're going, Jesus, these guys are just ridiculous. They can't be running anything.
Yeah. That's why they're losing
80%
everything.
of people say that.
Yep. Ned Pepper says, thanks, guys. I enjoyed it. Thanks, Ned.
Thanks for coming.
Yep. Kenobi says, you guys should do 2 shows a week. I think we will sometime.
We need to do like a catch-up show at some point, too, to kind of cover the stuff that we don't get done.
Yeah,
but some exciting stuff with the Nate and Garrett show. We hired our first employee. We keep telling you guys we're getting monetized, but then we keep
getting limited for sharing our clips.
Once we get that hump, once we get the employee kind of rocking, there'll be less work for us. I think we probably will start doing.
Yeah, we think we're gonna do 2 shows a week. Maybe in 2 months from now or something.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the last video. This is the play out video. It's more of a positive video than the last one. All right, here we go.
At my wife Becky, one of her college or high school reunions, there's a guy there who'd been in our class and had been in the Navy SEALs, and he deployed to 80 countries. He'd been in the Navy SEALs for like a decade. And I said, what's the one thing that you learned? And he said, the one thing I learned is everybody in America is always focused on making America better. Having been to 80 different places all around the world, our only goal should be to not screw it up in America. Just don't make it worse, because America is so much better than everywhere else.
Okay. And in my opinion, that is about the First Amendment and the Second Amendment, which we should defend to the death and never let go of, and never let the liberals make us slaves by getting rid of the Second Amendment.
Yep. That's a good way to end it.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Adam and Stove.
Mitch Marvel.
Ned Kenobi.
Yeah, Ned
Mitch
Kenobi.
Marvel, yeah.
If we missed
a lot,
it,
guys.
everybody, thanks for watching.
The latest. We'll see you guys Monday. If we forgot someone, sorry, but it was a fun one.
Yep. Appreciate everybody. Peace.
Yeah, had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stopping. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. The Nate and Garrett Show.